This is a work I did for the students. Okay, so all of you have already seen an essay, right? The title which
Yeah,
Krizan
yeah.
did once. So everybody must have gone through it. I have given you a document in which I tell you what goes into making a good title and all. Let's see another essay. Now this is again for your benefit, guys. Okay, so let's just see another essay. The title is "Doubt is the Key to Knowledge." Okay, to what extent this true in two areas of knowledge? Okay, so doubt is the key to knowledge. So somewhere or the other, if you'll see, I mean, if it is your title, you should see what they are saying is they are assuming that doubt will be very significant to a better understanding, a better learning. So if you're having doubt, that becomes a key to your knowledge. So this is maybe an embedded claim in this essay. So see now what the child has done. Now this, it's very important for us to see. In my Ethiopian culture, doubt, are you able to read, everyone? I think
Yes,
it's a little blur, but still you can manage to read it, right?
indeed. Yes.
Okay. In my Ethiopian culture, doubt, especially when directed to source of great authority, is deemed extremely disrespectful. So, for example, I say something to you and you say, I am the authority, right? The source of, and you say, I doubt. That's regarded not respectful because I am the person who's supposed to be the great authority. And when you're taking anything from the authority, there is no scope for doubt. That's what he says in this Ethiopian culture. So the child starts very beautifully and says, in my Ethiopian culture, doubt, especially when directed to source of great authority, is deemed extremely disrespectful. In contrast, see how beautifully, with a very generic thing, the person has made a comparison. In contrast, the Persian proverb says that doubt is the key to knowledge. This is what the title says. Okay, so they've just talked about two different cultures in which how they take doubt as. So in the Persian one, they say doubt is the key, implying that doubt is an important way of acquiring knowledge. Okay, that's what I said the title means. It's just trying to say that if you doubt something, you will have a better understanding because you'll start exploring. So he says in Persian it's like this, but in Ethiopian it's a little disrespectful. The problem with doubt as the key to knowledge is that doubt isn't a way of knowing. So doubt you cannot do how you know. Doubt is an emotion. We feel that motivation that motivates us to seek knowledge. So whenever you're in doubt, you will try to clarify. You will try to go a little beyond. So it just motivates us to seek knowledge. However, see the beautiful way in which contrast and then a contrast is happening. However, this motivation can manifest itself differently in contrasting areas of knowledge like maths and religion. So see in the first, this is not a complete introduction. What has the child done? The child has clearly identified the two contrasting areas of knowledge, very important. The introduction, there is a thesis statement made from different perspective. So there is one which says it will help you to acquire knowledge, whereas the one which says that should you be actually disrespecting the source of authority? And the child will somewhere try to take it as an emotion which will motivate us to seek knowledge. So this is a set introduction. Now see, very simple. I gave you this one thing always. The simpler you make your essay, the easy it is for you. Don't think that people come in awe of the good terminology and words or dictionary meaning. They don't. See how beautiful this child has done. Mathematics is an area of knowledge that is only concerned with reason. In a right angled triangle, and it's a very simple example, believe me, I haven't studied more than my graduation, so I just know very basics of maths. Honestly, I mean, even in graduation it was like a very basic subject. So but still I could make it out. It's a very simple example. In a right angled triangle, a square plus b square is equal to c square, and that's it. There are no alternative answers or personal interpretation. People will not say, according to me, a right angle triangle is this. According to you, a right angle triangle is this. So when you say something, sorry, there is something in this, you just can't. There is a reason, there is a rationale. So the person says that in a right angle triangle, a square plus b square is equal to c square, and that's it. There are no alternative answers and there is no scope for personal interpretations. An answer to a mathematical problem is either right or wrong, which is very obvious. This is because the main way of knowing in maths is reason, and evidence is required for a mathematical statement to be true or false. When we first learned about negative numbers in math class, it made no sense to me. And again, a very simple example. This is the basic. Any teacher who really doesn't like math also and is testing or is checking your essay will understand this. How would a bigger number have a lower value than a smaller number? So I assume everybody is doing maths here will know this. Okay, so he's just talking about the negative numbers. It was illogical and it contradicting all the math that I had learned before that day. How simple. You're looking as if it's a kid's essay, right? But see, it's a grade 12 again. So think about the beauty in which you've made it simple. I was confused and curious because the entire life you've learned 3 is bigger than 2. But now minus 2 is bigger than minus 3. So why? I mean, you got confused. Okay. At this moment, I doubted my maths teacher. Okay, now a personal experience is coming. Because of my personal knowledge on that matter, of course, it made it very obvious. Either the previous mathematical information was wrong, or the new information about negative numbers was wrong. Something has to be wrong. You just can't teach me two contradictory things. But he explained me the concept of a number line with a central point 0, and that they were both right. My doubt led me to understanding, and that was the key to my knowledge. Now, see the beauty. First, doubting my maths teacher, if you'll come here, was one of the stance. In Utopian, it was disrespectful. So he's doing it. But then he's also adding it out that doubt does become motivate us to seek knowledge. So see, every time he's going back and linking to the title. Everywhere. My doubt led to understanding and was the key to my knowledge. That is what I say. Remember, this was one of those things in the document. Link back, link back, link back. Every time to make a claim or a counterclaim, link back to what you're trying to say. Something that you're trying to say must be written in the introduction. So link back to what you're trying to say. Okay. So we have personal experience. So beautifully the child has done it. Let's come to the other. On the other hand, I think this makes it very obvious to a teacher, even if the teacher doesn't read anything, that the child has given an argument. The child has given a counterclaim. On the other hand, doubt in mathematics can be detrimental to education. You just can't doubt. So see, the child in this case has made a claim and a counterclaim in the same AOK. Understand this first. So what has the child done? The student has made a claim and a counterclaim in maths only. So what is it saying? That somewhere or the other, math can be detrimental to education if you doubt. I mean, if you doubt, then that can be very detrimental. How? Let's see. For example, after I do a question from the IB mathematics textbook, I always look at the back in order to check if my answers are correct because it has answers in the back. Very obvious, very simple. It's a very simple thing for a child to do this. Okay. If I do not have the book and I am in the class, then I ask my mathematics teacher for the correct answer. Very obvious, everybody does this. I do this where I am uncertain of my answer to a question. Okay, because if you're very sure, you'll never cross-check and you never even get back to your teacher. And my doubt allows me to gain knowledge. That is whether my answer is right or wrong. Good, it's a check. So if I don't have a book, then I'll talk to my teacher to find out because I am in a doubt whether I'll be correct or wrong. So my teacher tells me, if I have a book, I look at the back and do it. My doubt also helps me to assess how much of the mathematical concepts I've understood by marking myself. Very obvious. However, this can be detrimental to the progress because I started to become dependent on the answers in the back of the book or my mathematics teacher. So I'll never become right. Even if I do wrong, I know that there is somebody who will tell me. So, it happens. Supposedly there's a teacher and every time you're putting up a question, I don't know. Like, for example, when I teach, I have students, I always tell them, do it wrong, but do it. Because once you do it wrong also, I'll know where you are wrong. Instead of asking and me clarifying, I say nobody will ask me question, nobody will share their answers till 10 minutes. Explore. So what is happening? This child is saying, in spite of the fact that I was getting back to my teacher or my book, I started becoming dependent. Every time I do a question, I feel like I have to verify my answer with an authoritative source, which I have now come to understand leaves no scope for exploration or the development of my own method. So the child stopped exploring. The child stopped double checking. The child became more dependent on the teacher, dependent on the answer. So see what the child is doing. See, it is about authoritative source. See again, though you found it a very simple stance, again it was, what was there in Ethiopian culture? Authoritative source, disrespectful. So you're not deviating from there at all. Okay, my doubt caused a lot of loss of confidence in my mathematical ability and a dependence on authoritative source. So argument, what is it doing? It is having an argument which is concluded with a different perspective, but linked to the title. See, it's really done that very, very well. Any doubts anybody has? I mean, please ask. I thought probably reading it like this will be, I think it's easy. Is it easy or not? It is easy. Okay, let's just have another thing which they are saying. Again, another aspect of doubt in mathematics can be found in conjectures. A conjecture is a proposition which is believed to be true yet, but not yet proven. Mathematics all over the world are still struggling to prove many conjectures. So they are still not proven. One of the most famous of these in Goldbach's conjectures, where every even number is the sum of two primes. I'll tell you very honestly, I don't know about this. But see, if I am examining, I could read everything what the child is trying to make. This is what you have to do with your teacher. I don't know about this conjecture, but I am not here to read whether the child understands conjectures or this conjecture specifically, which they've given as an example well. I am just trying to say, is the knowledge or the example that the child has picked up suits very well to the title or not? So there's a difference. I don't want to know your mathematical knowledge. I don't want to know your historical knowledge. I want to know whether the example that you picked, are you able to relate it to the title or not? So the child said, so this conjecture says that every even number is the sum of two primes. So it's not yet proven. Even though the mathematicians' doubt motivated them to investigate this conjecture all the way to a particular number, it does not mean that the conjecture is true, because it is based on inductive reasoning. So for those of you who don't know, inductive reasoning, anyone who can just say add up to this, please? Otherwise, it's like one person. Anyone, what do you mean by it's based on inductive reasoning? So they give us a heart attack every time. Yeah, please speak, Anshu.
I'm saying based on induction as a way of knowing. So that's the point he's trying to make, that using induction as a way of knowing was how this conjecture was
trying to have certain bases.
Yeah.
Basically having
trying to have certain assumptions. Okay, Siddhant?
Basically have a general principle from a specific
case. So some assumptions, some principles, some basis, some hypothesis on which you're trying to make. Okay, so he says it does not mean that the conjecture is true because it is based on inductive reasoning. The conjecture can only be absolute when there is an algebraic way of proving it, and if it does not work for one number, the whole conjecture will be disapproved. So far, doubting this conjecture has only allowed mathematicians any access to new knowledge about the validity. Therefore, in this case, doubt alone has not allowed the gain of knowledge. Read it again, it's on the screen. Just read it again and let's see. I've written certain things. So first of all, I'll just say, and then I'll ask somebody to just interpret for the others. So example of conjecture is brief, what I'm trying to say. Just enough to support your argument. The person is not explaining me conjecture. The person is not explaining me this Goldbach's conjecture. The person is not explaining me why and what has gone into it. The student has just done what? Has just made it so brief, enough to support the argument. Within one AOK of maths, examples are real ones and suggest different answers to the title. Okay, so this is very, very important. So now, if anybody can just explain this further to me. Otherwise, it's only I am doing it. What is the person trying to say? And believe me, it doesn't need to be an HL Math student of an AA or an HL Math student of an AI. It's a student's understanding. See, if you are able to understand this, then it's fine. Anybody who would want to explain what the child has made? Why does the child come up with this conclusion? Therefore, in this case, doubt alone has not led to the knowledge. Anyone? You've not understood what it says? You don't understand what the conjecture is trying to say, what the child is trying to work out? Give it a try. You can read it again. Read the paragraph again.
Come on, children. Anyone?
It basically talks about how even though conjecture was motivated by doubt, it was
the further research, the further exploration was motivated by doubt. Yeah.
Its base is on inductive reasoning rather than doubt. So it wasn't doubt alone that allowed the gain of knowledge here.
And for some of you, at this moment, I assume that you should be knowing inductive reasoning. If the basis of presumptions or the points are wrong, then your answer will be somewhere wrong. So if, for example, what they are trying to say is, if it is disapproved by any algebraic way of proving it, and if it does not work, then it's disproved, which means even if you doubted, even if you came back to a particular way, a particular conjecture, still it depends on whether you're able to prove it or not. So doubt alone, now here, see the word doubt alone, because here doubt did lead to this particular thing, because it has been mentioned here that conjectures, because it's not proven, so people were somewhere or the other, that motivated them to investigate the conjecture. So doubt did, but somewhere doubt alone cannot do, because you have to have it proven also. So for you to be proving it and understanding it, you can gain knowledge, but just by having doubt, you cannot go into conjecture. This is the example of the student. If you understand it, give it. If you don't understand it, don't give it. So see what the person has done. Mathematics, for example, looking at doubt and how it functions in the context of 3 examples. Response from authority, the teacher. Proof from a textbook, your dependence. And absolute truth and certainty in maths. 3 different examples from, and there are claims and there are counterclaims. Now the child has moved slowly to the next AOK. On the other hand, religion is predominantly based on faith, we all know. Okay, so see, now one very important thing, see, they've talked about reasoning. Remember they said in the beginning somewhere or the other that it is based on reason, maths, it's based on reason, somewhere it mentioned, yeah, it's a reason, see here, it's a reason. And somewhere it's mentioned here, faith. This is how you will embed the way WOK. You're not supposed to say, this is faith, this is reason, or this is rational. This is, you have to just say very implicitly about your ways of knowing. Very implicitly. Just embed it in your answer. Seamlessly it should flow. It should not be that you're making an attempt to highlight your ways of knowing. So this child, how has the child done? On the other hand, religion is predominantly based on faith, so including your ways of knowing. Therefore, religious knowledge can only be acquired from authoritative source. Understand, faith will only be with authority. So they are saying, if religion is on faith, then everything which is acquired in religious knowledge system has to be on authoritative source. Hence the utopian thing, what they said is, you just can't doubt your authoritative sources. For example, my English teacher claims to be a devout Christian, and all he needs to know about religion is written in the Bible. Very simple example. We have various discussions from different point of views about literature. But when it comes to religion, there is only one road for him. It is irrelevant to him that science says that a human cannot die and be resurrected. Hence, he believes that Jesus brought Lazarus back from the dead. For a devout person like him, doubt does not play a role in acquiring religious knowledge. Because like in the example above, the story about this is based on the sense perception of people who believed and who claimed that this can happen. There is no way to prove or disapprove this claim. However, my history teacher is fully convinced that the source of this information, the Bible, is fully reliable and therefore does not require any evidence to be true. For a devoid person like him, doubt is not the key to knowledge. Now see, it somewhere you will find it, because the child must have got his own understanding. Somewhere you might find it, but it's saying so simple thing that for him, everything he believed was in Bible. There are different things which were happening, but because he was so devoid about it, so dependent on his understanding about the Bible, he is just trying to say somewhere or the other that everything claim or counterclaim doesn't make, because whatever is written is true. So for him, there was actually no scope of doubt even. This is what this child is saying. Okay, then I'll take you, there are so many, I'm not reading all of them. I think I'll send you this. You can just read it on your own. This is just a simple, I'm just trying to say, since we are starting, I don't want you to go into the depth. I am telling you what you should do is, you will only know whether you will go for this title or not, only if you make your claims and counterclaims. Like this child should say, okay, doubt is the key. So doubt, how can doubt be the key? How can doubt not be the key? One thing I can take it from history like this, one thing, or religious knowledge, one thing from math. Math can give me these two things. Can I put it as a, unless you do the basic framework, you cannot. So your next task should surely be that you have to talk about your basic mind map. When I say mind map, I mean your structuring, and your introduction should be well. Your introduction tells the teacher whether you understand the title or not. Very, very, very important. Got this point? So everyone, according to what you've done, now you need to do. So everything is clear. We have to. So Guru sir, what we'll do is we'll write a mail to these students once today. Okay, and I'll also mail you this document essay. You can just give it to them also. They should basically have finalized, which of course these 5 students haven't. All the students haven't given me their 2 reflections. They should, which I will not tell you now, guys. I'll just see and I'll tell you. Okay, I might not report. So I think who's given me? Yatharth, you've given me, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yatharth has given. Anusha has given.
Yes.
One more student gave. Did
Mona,
anybody else give? No, I think these 2 students gave. Yeah, Vedi?
did you get any document from Aishman?
No, I think, I don't know. I think I'll check. Just now, I'll just let you know. So Ayushman's name is also not here. Then how are we 14? We have 14, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
ma'am.
So then either I'm missing something. How can we have 14 students already?
Wait a minute. Brahma, Ayushman, and then one more.
Today, Arav, Drama,
Oh,
Aishman
Arav
is
has
not
already
here.
given me. Sorry, Ayushman is there then. Arav has already given me. Arav has given me the document. So
Okay.
PPF form has been given to me with 2 reflections by Anusha and Yatharth. Rest nobody.